Welcome to Stress Reset and Community Fit, right there. I'm James, I'll be your host for today, and we are going to explore resetting our stress fever, our stress reflex through the upper body. That is the theme for the week, is upper body. So if you're someone who holds their stress, who recognizes their stress or is stressed, anxious, traumatized in the neck, shoulders, arms, upper ribs, this would be the class for you this whole week. So today we're going to have some really practical stuff. For some of you, it will be revisiting. There will be some new stuff, a little more explanation, as always, the theme of this series, a little slower paced. And on Friday, when we meet again for Stress Reset, we're going to go over an embodied experiencing practice that we've played with before, but it's always good to revisit. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start off with a little bit of a breathing practice. So the breathing practice for today is going to be some alternate nostril breathing. If you are someone who doesn't like formulaic breathing practices, because about half of us do and half of us don't, feel free to utilize this time right now to simply breathe. Maybe just listening to the sound of your own breath, possibly even the physiological sigh. That one tends to work for everybody, going back to the first week, or follow me into this breathing practice. So in order to do alternate nostril breathing, we have to close up one nostril. So you can use whichever finger you want. You can use an index, you can use a thumb, doesn't matter. And we're just going to breathe. So I can close one nostril and inhale. And exhale. Now you keep going. I'm going to do a little talking. Often, and I'm someone, you'll see when we do the right nostril, we have one nostril that works better, one side that works better than the other. Sometimes they both feel congested. Here's just the facts. The more you get into nose breathing, the more you require it, the more your sinuses dilate open, the capillaries sort of work better. So the more you do the breathing through the nose thing, the easier and more sustainable and better it gets. So same nostril you've been doing, 5 more breaths. Switching sides. Four more. Last 3. And then just breathe. Notice whatever you notice. Is that a practice you want to take with you? Is it one you want to leave behind? Where does it land with you? Now, we're going to move into some of our more physical practices, our more physical stress reset practices. And as always, paying attention to taking an inventory of Where are you at right now, physically, emotionally, mentally? And then what does it feel like? What is the change, the shift, the movement afterwards is the indicator as to whether that practice was good for you today or something you need more work with or not for you. Okay? Now, when we're working with the upper body, especially neck and jaw pain, upper shoulder pain, or stress, congestion there. What that is unmetabolized sympathetic nervous system information, meaning your body has become aware of something. It perceives it as a threat, whether it is an actual lion walking into the room or something to be threatened by, or something that your body remembers, recalls, or contextualizes from its past. I got in trouble for this before when I was 3, so I'm probably going to get in trouble now that I'm 33. This was a thing that was scary at 5, and now that I'm 55, I'm still functioning as if this thing is scary when really it's not. Or maybe it still is. So to understand that your body is uninterested in if something feels good or feels bad in the moment. It is uninterested if it is a healthy thing to be doing or not. What it is interested in is your survival. So as we go through this, what we're doing is convincing our body that it is safe enough to be present rather than fighting or flying or freezing. That we are safe enough for soft, supple movement, that we are interpreting something as being joyful instead of jolting. So things that feel good, small movements, itty bitty micro things, because think about what Western culture tells us. You have a neck thing, so you got to really stretch it. You got to use that tool and really massage it out. You have a shoulder thing, so you have to go to the massage therapist and they got to dig their elbow into that. And that's simply untrue. Always start with small, convincing things and then sort of listen for where your body wants to go next with it. So as we explore and play today, we're looking for nuance. We're looking for subtlety. We're looking for what feels good in your body. We're looking for an invitation, which is can for so many of us be ambiguous because you've never known to ask your body for these things. You've never known to listen for what feels good rather than listening to someone to tell you what to do, right? So it requires you also getting curious and comfortable with, is this thing going to work or not? The answer may be no. The answer may be yes. So we're going to just kind of go forward and explore today. And if you can glean 1 or 2 things out of today that really work for you, great. Less is more. Ready? Old familiar. Start by warming your hands. The reason why I warm my hands, and for me, my hands, an indicator of whether your nervous system is resilient or not, is how warm are your hands neutral or routinely, and how easy is it to warm your hands. The easier your hands warm, the more warm your hands are, the more resilient your nervous system is. Warm hands are an indicator of a healthy functioning nervous system. It's not all of the indicators, and there are other things in there, but that is one of the main indicators. So getting your hands warm, and if they aren't warm, then using a warming prop, a heating blanket or something on like a low setting. And then we're just going to take and place them right onto the throat. Now, the reason the warmth works is the warmth between your body temperature and about 103, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, so low grade fevers, are activate the thermoreceptors in our body, which are right next to proprioceptors, sciencey words for how your body recognizes a good feeling warmth, and those activate proprioceptors, which is sort of where you are spatially. It's your aliveness cells. So just a little warmth. You don't have to do anything else. Just registering the warmth will allow your body to go, oh, I'm alive here. Oh, there I am. Here I am. Look at me. And so much of that sympathetic nervous system, that stress fever, that stress reflex is like, get out of here, I can't be here, or dissociate, I'm out of my body. And this is just a reminder that here I am. So I'm just gonna go here because the theme of today is upper body. You could go here, you could go here, you could wrap your hands to the back of your neck, you could put them on your chest, just kind of explore and play. Maybe even close your eyes for a moment if it feels good. Where does the warmth feel the best right now? Without the need to massage, without the need to effort, just letting the touch of your hands, the therapeutic touch of your own hands or your massage prop, and the warmth do the job that it's designed to do. And just be there. Just notice. I'm going to clue you in. This does not have to be what your body is going through. I'm simply going to share what I'm noticing as I go through this. As I go through this, at first there was like a ramping up, like, oh, what's that? I'm being touched right now. And now my nervous system is kind of peaked. And then it's going, oh, I want to settle a bit. So notice in your own body, what is the impulse, the urge? How is your body making sense of what you're doing right now? Two more breaths. Next, we're going to move into the jaw. You're just, if I'm going to go on a scale of 1, which is like barely any touch, and like just kind of get a touch, or 10, like deep tissue massage work, right? I'm at about a 3 or a 4, maybe even to a 5 here. And I'm just going to massage my jaw. So you can see it's not a lot of work. Again, we're really in conversation with the nervous system more so than muscle right now. So it doesn't, I mean, your nervous system is smarter than you are. So we're just going to honor that. We're just going to do this very gentle massage right here. Now, we've talked about the vagus nerve before. That's the nerve, that 10th cranial nerve that says, what am I feeling right now? What's going on right now? It holds hands with or interdigitates with the trigeminal or the jaw to ear to kind of low face nerve. So what we're doing right now is just giving that a feel good experience, just sort of massaging through here very, very gently. If you are someone who suffers from cold sores, like a herpes thing going on around the mouth, that is the herpes virus living on the trigeminal nerve. And when you are stressed, that stress in that nerve awakens that virus and asks it to proliferate. So if you're someone who suffers from cold sores, this just very gentle massage, even a warm thing. When you are noticing stress or before you get stressed, when you feel that stress fever begin to percolate up, this might be a really good one. Other things that work, chewing gum. Chewing, we don't do this enough, chewing hard food. So things like carrots, whole apples, whole pears, hard bread, red meat, things that take quite a bit of the clinical term mastication or the actual chewing, grinding thing stimulates this nerve in a very positive way. And we now live in a culture where most of our food is soft, a smoothie culture, and that does no good for this. You need this to crunch, move, be stimulated, and or a little hand action. Now I'm going to take some fingers and kind of go up by the eyebrows. We have fascia or connective tissue that attaches from sort of underneath the eyebrows all along the scalp and runs all the way down the back of the body. It sort of pulls in that direction. So if you're someone who gets head congestion or headaches or neck stuff or eye stuff, just even taking kind of going through here. Again, as we discussed in week 1, these are all things that most of us implicitly accidentally do, right? Like, oh, I've got a headache. Oh, I've got this. Just turning it into an explicit habit or tool that you can resource before you get the headache, right? Like, I know I get headaches when I'm stressed, so I'm entering into a stressful environment. Maybe I will preemptively do some of this. Going right into the ears. It's a gentle ear pull out and a gentle ear pull backwards. Again, stimulating that trigeminal nerve, but deeper. We've got that ear canal that goes in, and the way your ear canal drains is jaw movement. So we're just taking and stimulating the same thing. Just a gentle pull out and a gentle pull back. I like to couple this with taking a big gulpy swallow of air and like swishing it around in my mouth in the way that I would like a mouthwash or water trying to get toothpaste off of my teeth, right? So I'm gonna do a gentle pull out, gentle pull back. Exhale. And just notice what you notice. Take an inventory. What of that information sounded like you? What of that experience made a distinct difference in how you feel or how you would move forward? If you want to drop it into the chat, that would be great. If not, we can hold on to that. It's totally fine. Now, so many people, so many people suffer from upper neck pain. It's one of the most common things I hear about in my practice. And mostly it's because if you think about a dog, when a dog gets scared, right, the hair on the back of its neck stands up, which is a nervous system muscle response. It's like a contraction, which pulls the hair follicles up. Same for you, friend. Same for you. So when you perceive a threat, those muscles tighten up and brace because ancestrally, you know, this is the sensitive area, right? Like you can have the arm injured and the leg injured and it's going to be bad. You have that neck, throat, head area injured and it's like game over. So your body goes, oh, protect this by contracting and bracing around it. And then we go, well, let me fix that. Let me massage that thing out without taking any time to distinctly and directly converse with the nervous system that, oh, we're a friend, you're actually okay here. We are okay here. So let's do that right now. We're going to use the nose as our inlet. So imagine your nose has a pencil, or just that your nose wants to draw a circle on the wall in front of you. But here's the catch. How small of a perfect circle can you begin to draw? Almost imperceivable, right? It's just this itty bitty little circle. Now, you can have your eyes open or closed. Just doing the circle thing is really good because it's finessing, it's nuancing movement in that upper neck occipital area, low head, upper neck juncture. If you have the ability, if you've been with these practices long enough, as you make that circle, stop paying attention to making the circle and instead continue to make the circle, but just notice the movement in that upper neck, low head area. It's like I'm making circles, but I'm uninterested in the circles now. I'm more interested in the information, the experience in the neck. And if you can do that, is your circle big enough? Is it small enough? Where does your neck want you to move now? How fast or slow is that? And then reverse the direction. You can regress and go, I'm just going to make little circles until I trust it. Or you can go right into the full experience. Your choice. What's going to work for you today? For me, that was enough, right? On how do I know it's enough? My breathing shifted and changed. So there are, again, a few indicators that when you get more expertise in paying attention to your nervous system is literally going to give you a thumbs up of when you've had enough. Sometimes it speaks to you just going like, yep, you've had enough. That's fine. That's a little more advanced. Things to listen for. A shift in breathing. Maybe there's like a yawn comes up, or the speed or the tone changes. Sometimes it's like a gurgly, it's like a big, like a gulping swallow, right? Like think about after a cold and it's that big gulpy swallow, because that whole nervous system complex is informing what's going on right here in your throat. And so a change in how you're swallowing registers as a change in the nervous system state. The last one is listening for, think about when we think, oh, I must be hungry because my stomach is talking to me, or the sounds of digestion. Well, it's not just that you're hungry or that you're digesting food, because that same nervous system, that vagus nerve, that nerve of what is the experience going on right now, holds hands with the nerves in the gut. So sometimes when our nervous system changes positively, you'll hear like a digestion noise. So just learning to listen for that. My breathing shifted. So for me, I was like, that's enough. Maybe you need more, right? Just paying attention to that. So we have all of those little things that are really, really helpful. Let's switch gears a little bit. I introduced this one, I think it was week number 1. This is Alicia's new favorite. Comes to me from Nakem Nadefo, who does Resiliency Toolkit. She calls it Butterfly Kisses. I like the name, so that's what we're going to call it. We're going to take our thumbs and hold, right? It's like a little bird or a butterfly. Palms are going to face you. You're just going to put your hands over your upper chest, collarbone area. You can just kind of hold that, or it's just like little pats. Now, maybe that's too much stimulus. Maybe it's just one side or the other. Maybe it's both. Maybe you need faster or slower. Remember, the goal here is what resets, settles, regulates you. Breathing shifted for me. Something good is going on, whether I know it or not. Now, if that's too precious for you, if it's too stylized, you can just go here. You can just do this, right? Again, an intuitive thing that so many people do when they feel anxious. Just kind of hold here and do this, right? Like this is like mom on a schoolyard. Like, oh God, on the jungle gym again, right? So to just take some of these things we implicitly do and turn them into tools. Now, kind of taking it down and making it broad. Let's work with the shoulders a little bit because a lot of us hold back tension. Rubbing your hands together. I did this one in Move Lab, and I think I even did it last week in Move Lab. But we're going to take our warm hands and we're going to put it underneath an armpit. That's all you got to do. Underneath your armpit is some lymph nodes, but also your brachial nerve plexus, or the superhighway of the nerves for your arms. And again, we're just working with that heat thing. You can just kind of be here and hang out. let that go and just notice any difference between right and left arm. If you like the way that felt, let's do the other side. Few breaths. And then release. And just for a moment, notice. Now, again, if it's not the upper neck thing that bothers people, majority of my clients come in with shoulder pain. And when I'm watching how they are metabolizing or working through their shoulder pain, it looks a lot like this, right? Or like big, gross movements, gross meaning not very nuanced, not, it's just moving to moving. And there's a time and a place for that. But again, often when we are in the context of nervous system and resetting, more isn't more. That's moving for muscle and bone sake. We are more interested right now in being in conversation with the nervous system. So we're going to dial it back a little bit. And instead of turning up the volume on the movement, we're going to, I'm an analogy guy. We're going to adjust the bass and the treble before we do big movements, meaning, do I need a little more of this, a little more of that, a little more? And you already know how to do that. We're going to take the same nose thing, and we're now going to explore it from the lens of the shoulder. So you can draw on that right arm, draw on the right wall circles, or imagine you have a pencil, a pin, whatever it is, coming out of the shoulder. And it's just how little can you make those? Now, for some people, that's enough. For other people, they need a little more feedback. Like, am I doing what I think I'm doing? You can put the other hand on the collarbone and you can kind of feel that collarbone move underneath your hand. And again, more isn't more. So we're not going how big of a circle. We're not moving bones. We're not massaging anything out. We're inviting some really soft, supple movement in that shoulder joint, reminding it, you're alive. You're okay here. Not threatened at all. Totally fine. Again, I'm inclined here to close my eyes. And then my body wants to make that bigger now. So I'm not saying don't make it big. Just don't start off with the presumption that bigger is better, right? If your body wants to go big and wants to take it along, but I'm just now going to quiet my mouth and let my body do the talking. So you can join in or you can just watch. Maybe it wants to go in reverse. Good. And then quiet and just notice any difference. Here's what I notice. After the armpit thing, it's like a moment. Now that this arm is moved, this arm is still in the moment, right? This arm feels now integrated back into my body. It's like, oh, I have a right arm. I am a right arm. And this is like, there's a very relaxed left arm hanging out over there. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to see where this side wants to go. Think about how easy this could even be in like a meeting, right? It's like I could just do a little bit of this. And unless you're staring and looking for it, you're never even going to notice. I could be doing this in my car. I could close my eyes now and have more of an experience. I could use that hand for feedback. This side is requiring me, asking me to move a little bit more slowly. It's like, I just want the slowness. Breathing shift. It's good enough for me. Then we're going to pick our hands up and we're just going to shake. Shake, 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 shake. Let it shake, let it shake. Not a lot of thought. Again, we've talked about shaking a lot in previous classes. It's like the chemicals of stress are on the cells, and we're literally shaking that off. So I'm just shaking, 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 shaking. Now I want to end with having each hand grab a hold of the opposite wrist. And I'm gently going to pull. And I can feel my two shoulder blades going kind of holding together. That's an area of our body, and then release. It's an area of our body we tend to not move a lot because we're now doing computer posture more. And think about the posture, right? Like, just look for a moment. This posture versus this posture versus this posture, right? They tell a story. So there's no good or bad posture. I just don't want to get stuck in the sad posture or the overly efforting posture. I want to be in the mid posture. So I'm just going to wake up in between my shoulder blades. Maybe I even want to do a little inhale. One more. Then before I let you go, just recounting. What worked for you today? What didn't? How do you feel now versus when you came in? If you want to drop it into the chat and talk about it, I'll be here for a bit. And if not, I hope you join us on Friday when we take some of these physical practices and make them more internalized. So we talk to our internal landscape, our inner personal dialogue. Stay tuned. And in the meantime, join me for Move Lab. We're going to have a good time tomorrow. See you then. Bye, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, James. That was great. Now I'm like all relaxed and I want a little nap because I'm all reset. I was actually the night before last, the reason I didn't pop on yesterday is because I had a major allergy attack before I went to bed, and I couldn't stop sneezing and coughing, and then it went into my chest and I started wheezing, and that always scares me. I don't have asthma, but it always scares me when the wheezing happens. And I started doing my butterfly thing, and it at least calmed the anxiety. It didn't necessarily make the allergies go away. What made my nose stop itching, this is so interesting, everybody, I hope it's not TMI, was to actually pull my nostrils out away from my face. And then my nose, everything in here that was causing me to sneeze, everything calmed down. So I just did that and the breathing, and then I did this to calm my anxiety. And then I took a Benadryl and I had a bad reaction from it. But prior to the Benadryl, I was trying to do some self stuff, which was helping to calm the anxiety that I was having. But you can kind of still hear it in my voice, the allergies.
Yeah, I have a deviated septum on the right side. So that's why I don't breathe well out of the right side. My sister has the same thing. It's just genetic, I guess. So I will often like gently push into that sinus and pull it away. Especially I prefer to sleep on my left side, which makes the right nose the predominant breathing nostril. And I actually get anxious sometimes at nighttime because it's like you can't breathe and you're doing that. So I'll often just even like fall asleep doing that. So if you get that like sinus thing, exactly what Alicia said, kind of pulling it away, opening that up, or even just kind of pulling outwards will help to open all of that up.
So, okay. I mean, and honestly, these classes have made it, and I think I can probably speak for everybody on here, it's made it to where we can start to explore what may work for us in certain situations and not feel like we're, that it's weird or funny or whatever. It's like, wait, that actually works. I need to do that. So, so thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So we have some feedback. One is my hands are literally perma cold, as are my feet. And again, it could be there are a number of things going on with that. but one of the indicators of consistently cold hands and feet is a nervous system that doesn't have good, what's called heart rate variability, or the ability to like ramp itself up and cool itself off moment by moment. So the breathing exercise, it's funny, the breathing exercises are one of the best things you can do to warm your hands up because it functions on the same thing. So
Wow.
warmer hands, breathing exercise, and see where that goes.
Hey.
The ear pull and puffed cheeks was very relaxing. I agree. It's one of my favorites. Are there any books on this stuff? Let me see if there are any.
Well, you've got
no,
learning it somewhere, aren't you?
There are 20 years. What you're receiving here is a collection of 20 years of experiences of things that were pulled from different resources, different people, things that I have made up along the way, things
So
that
you have to write the book.
I will probably write the book.
Awesome.
Of pulling in even things, you know, it's just how my brain works. It's like, oh, here's this massage thing we do. How do we turn that into a movement practice? Here's this movement practice thing we do. How do we make this a somatics practice, you know, sort of playing with things? So I wish there was a book that I could refer to right now. There are theoretical books, and then there are some, I'm trying to think, there's nothing like what you're receiving in this class at all. There isn't. Sorry.
Well, now you have another thing on your list of
Another thing on my list.
Buddy.
It actually is. I don't know why I have been resistant to writing the book for so long, because I'm actually, before everything, I'm a writer. And so the writing ability is there. I've written blogs and stuff. So the book will come. I just don't know when. This was great. Took the time from sitting on the computer. Didn't realize how stuck I get to the computer precisely. Please write the book.
Please write the book. Thank you so much, James, for today. It was really helpful to me, and I'm still trying to get over this. So I think today really helped. Just to let you guys know, I know we're kind of running over, but we will not be having class next Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. But as you know, I always tell you, YouTube, Western Health Advantage playlists. We have the last 2 blocks up there, so you can definitely pull up some older classes and do your movement lab and your stress reset from there. But other than that, we'll see you tomorrow for Move Lab or Friday for stress reset.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, everyone. Thanks, Raymond. Bye.
Bye.